Hello and welcome to a league wrap-up. We're going to be playing Modern Dice Factory today. This is a deck I've been testing for a while. I haven't actually played it in a league yet. I've just been playing it in some practice matches. It's a really fun deck. It's probably more of a meme. I don't expect to do really well in this league. This deck just produces a bunch of mana, uses Surge Node to put counters on these different chalices, Everflowing Chalice, and the Astral card, and just Mystic Forge. You can play everything except for lands off the top of your deck, so you just make a bunch of mana, play a bunch of stuff, and then finish off with either Walking Ballista or an Aetherflex Reservoir, gaining a bunch of life to deal enough damage to kill him. It is a Tron deck, not really super reliant on the Tron lands, but it does run the Tron lands. If it gets it, it's great, it's more mana, but it's not something like Green Tron that it really tries to do. I do have the one Orborg in there just for the new Void card, so I can actually play spells through that enchant or artifact, and then just some other helpful utility lands. Don't actually need any colored mana in the deck, so just get to use some of these Seagate Wreckage, Radiant Fountain, Inventor's Fair, Blast Zone, Burial Ruins. Other than that, that's the deck. The sideboard is basically a Karn package. It is like Karn the Great Creator deck, so there's only actually one sideboard card. Everything else is just tutor targets for the Karn. Some different combo pieces I might need, some survival things like the Ensnaring Bridge, Worm Coil Engine, some things if I just need to try to live a turn before I can actually combo. Alright, so if you have not seen my videos, you're not familiar with how this is, I'm going to off recording, going to play the first rounds of the league. Then after I'm done playing it, I'm going to use the match history feature on Magic Online and just breeze through, giving commentary about the actual game, some of the decisions I made, but actually being able to pause it to explain different lines without actually worrying about the in-game clock or worrying about the opponent spending a while on their turn to make decisions and everything. So with that, we'll get to the first game. We are into match 1 of the 5-match league. We lost the die roll, so we are on the draw. They are on the play. Alright, so this first opening hands, it's only got one land. It does have 2 maps. I mean, we could, if we got one more land, stack these maps to get the Tron, but it's too big of a risk. Not really worth trying it, so mulligan this down to 6. Alright, this hand has 2 Tron pieces. 3 ways to produce mana, the Core Tapper, and the Forsaken Monument. So this is a good starting hand. Probably should have put Talisman on the bottom because it's the worst of these 3. I don't actually care about the colored mana, and these Mind Stones at least draw cards. But I'd go ahead and keep a Talisman and put one of the Mind Stones on bottom. Not too big of a deal, but Mind Stone is a better thing to have kept. Alright, so Snow-Covered Forest, Arbor Elf. Possibly green, red, Ponza. Snow-Covered Forest is a little weird for that. Maybe they just like the snow-covered. I'm going to hold back on the Astral Cornucopia. There's no reason to play it right now. Topia Sprawl. Naming white, so maybe it's Heliod combo. Snow covered plains, still with the snow covered. Greater Armancy, so some kind of enchantment deck then. Okay, I draw the Surge node. Always want to lead with the Astral before playing the Core Tapper, just in case he does have like the path or something for this Core Tapper. I want to be able to sacrifice it to put the counters on something. So I'll play that first, and then I'll play the Core Tapper. If he does have the mover for the Core Tapper, I can put counters. Alright, so yeah, definitely some kind of Enchantress deck. Solitary Confinement is going to be a tough card to beat. I do think we have ways around it. I mean, he only has 2 cards of hand with no consistent draw power, so there's always just a chance of him not drawing enough enchantments off of his Enchantress, like hitting too many lands in a row, to actually be able to not only discard, but to keep up cards to discard. So I think this will actually resolve itself if I just give it enough time. So I'm just going to set up to be able to kill him once that eventually goes away. So I want to put a counter on the Astral, play out the Surge node, and then use that to put a counter on that, the Astral, so it can actually tap for 2 mana, and then I'll play out a Mind Stone, just to try to get the maximum amount of mana next turn. Okay, so he actually discarded one of his Enchantress effects, which is a little weird. I would think he wants as many of them as possible. He gets in for 2. Yeah, as I was saying, so it looks like he drew the Foothills, so he has 1 card left in hand. He's going to have to discard that card to the Solitary Confinement, so this is going to deal with itself. Naturally drawing Tron, that's cool, I guess. So I start to do this the wrong way, where I was going to tap this first, but I'm going to play the Monument. And the thing about this Astral is it doesn't actually get buffed because it taps for colored mana. So I go ahead and not pay using my Tron lands, and I want to put the counter on the Astral first, so I can tap the Astral for mana. Then with that line of thought, I go ahead and I still tap the mana the exact same way. So I had the right line of thought of the order I should have done it, and then I lost some mana there. Now this taps. I could have tapped this Astral and left Tower open, and then Tower would tap for 4 mana. I had the right idea and then just messed it up anyway. So play out the Talisman, gain 2 life, and then Talisman's free. It taps for 2 mana. It costs me 2 mana, so put the counter on the Astral before I tap it. Go ahead and tap that to play the Karin. Gain another 2 life. Putting myself at a pretty comfortable range here. Well, I'm at good enough health. Karin isn't at too great of health, so I just want to make sure Karin is protected, and I'm going to get the Ensnaring Bridge here. That way he can't attack Karin. I could have got something to block, but I'd rather just him not attack. I don't know what kind of tricks he might have. But I guess he couldn't actually have tricks because he's going to have to discard this during his upkeep. Cracks his foothills. Then he also goes and cracks the Sterling Grove, which is good because now he doesn't have all of his enchantments hexproof anymore. I can actually destroy his enchantments. He gets Line of Blossoms on top of his library. And then he discards. His last card was another Foothills. So yeah, now this Solitary Confinement is going to go away during his next turn. So this turn, I just want to do as much as I can. So as soon as that Solitary Confinement goes away, I should be able to finish him off. So get Forge, tap Tower for 4 mana to play the Forge, play Mindstone off the top, gain 2 life, use the 1 left for map, go and exile plant just to have another plant on top, go and sacrifice this map for the shuffle effect, just grab a Blast Zone. He's got a lot of 2-drop enchantments here. That Blast Zone might be the only way I have of getting rid of this Greater Aromancy, especially if he gets a second one out. So I'd like to have that. Chalice, go ahead and play it on just 1 kicker. 1 pays for itself, he'll tap for 2 mana. Play another Core Tapper. Gain another 2 life. I have 3 mana floating. I'll use all 3 of that just to play this Astral. I mean, no matter what, I can't go off this turn because I can't, with Solitary, I can't really finish him, so I'm just trying to maximize the amount of mana, so I don't really care about, I'm fine with spending my mana this turn into that Astral. Inventive Sphere on top, I'm fine with drawing that next turn. This is pretty good stopping. I've made a lot of board presence here. Sacks Confinement, because he can't discard. Plays the Line that he drew. Gains a life and draws a card off of that. And itself, because it actually does trigger itself. So 2 cards in hands. Plays a Sanction Reader. That's going to give him a lot of mana if he gets an next turn. Draws 2 more cards off of that and gains 1 more life. And the turn, I just want to use these Core Tappers, or use a non-summoning cycle one to put a counter on something, and then put a counter on Blast Zone. Alright, so another Karin off the top. Go and just play the Karin. Because I can't use it. I can plus this Karin up on something to make it a creature, but there's nothing worth making a creature, so we'll just not use its ability. Play the second one, keep the newer one. Now I can minus this. And I'm going to get my combo piece, Paradox Engine. That will just allow me to cast things off the top of my library. Each time I cast things, I'm going to put more charge counts on things. I'm going to get some exponentially high number of counters and mana. Eventually just sifting through my deck whenever I find the land that I can't play. I can use the Mystic Forge to exile it. If I hit 2 lands in a row, I got 2 Mind Stones to draw those lands to get them out of the way to try to get to the next non-lands. And then I got this Talisman again for another untap that I can use to Mystic Forge again. And then this Inventive Sphere that can shuffle up. So he doesn't know about the Inventive Sphere or the Talisman of how set I had this loop, but I would have had to hit 5 or 6 lands in a row for this to actually fizzle without drawing something else that draws me cards or helps sift through. So we get game 1 against Enchantress. Game 2, as I said, the sideboard's not really a sideboard. I didn't make any change to the deck. I'm really hoping that as an Enchantress deck, he doesn't have Stony Silence. But if he does, I actually don't have anything against that, besides just trying to play lands and play out things without actually using artifacts, which would be difficult. They are on the play. This is a keepable hand. It's got 2 of the same Tron lands, but again, we're not really a Tron deck, so I'm not really trying to assemble Tron. So it is 2 lands with 2 mana rocks plus the 2 core tappers and Astral. So yeah, this hand over time can get a lot of mana, so it's a fine keepable hand. Opponent down to 6 cards. Turn 1, Abundant Growth. Map is a good turn 1 play. Go and play that. Get that out. He taps for a green there, but he doesn't actually do anything with it. I don't know if that's just... yeah. Maybe he tapped the green, then played the land so he couldn't undo, or played the wrong land or something. I don't quite know what that was, but he doesn't really do anything. Turn 2, I don't get a land, so I'm really tempted, especially fearing that Stony Silence. I want to sack this map to try to get more lands, because that would be the only way, but I'm pretty much just dead to Stony Silence anyway. I want to do the better play here. If he had it, he may have already played it, so I'm just going to get the Astral Light out there, and then the Core Tapper, so I can start building the counters up on this and getting more mana that way. This does leave me more vulnerable to removal interaction, but this Enchantress, I don't know if he's going to have a whole lot of that. Alright, Blood Moon's fine. I already am so far away from Tron, it doesn't actually hurt me at all. Another map, really rather that than a land. So I do want to make my land drop here. So I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice a map. Waste is my best land with the Blood Moon out. If I ever get Monument, it will tap for 2. All the other lands are just mountains anyway, so. And then tap my 2 mana for another Core Tapper. Again, if he has some kind of enchantment removal or artifact, enchantment form of artifact removal, or just maybe he has artifact removal that's not enchantment, it's really going to host this plan here. But if he doesn't, this Astral is going to be starting to tap for a lot of mana. He's got Enchantress, that's fine. Drawing Topia Sprawl, drawing some cards. And still not a land. I got a second card. So go ahead and get this Astral Light up to 3 counters, play Karn, and then I don't like... I'm going to just try to start hitting his lands. I'm going to get the Liquid Metal Coating here, especially this Utopia Sprawl land that's produced 2. Like, I just don't want him to start drawing his entire deck, just playing enchantments and drawing his entire deck. So I'm going to try to hit him with his mana to try to slow him down while I use these Core Tappers and to start ramping myself up. So I play the Coating. I make sure to set my stop on my opponent's upkeep. That way I can use this Liquid Metal Coating on his Snow-Covered Forest with Utopia Sprawl. So he cannot use it for this turn. And then he concedes to that. So didn't get to see a lot of the combo. I mean, we got there, but yeah, that's match 1. And we'll go to match 2 now. On to match 2, we won the die roll, so we'll be on the play. Starting hands. It's a decent starting hand. No 1-drop, but the turn 2 chord tapper on Astrolite or Astral, and Walking Ballista to sink the mana, so it's worth keeping. We'll keep this. And some utility lands too. Alright, so because they are on a Loros deck, I'm actually going to start with this Astral. I would rather it be on the battlefield than getting Inquisitions. I don't know that it is the target they would hit, but if they hit this, and my core tapper is just bad, so, and then they can just push. So it does look like it's a Thoughtseize deck, some kind of Jund. Another Tron land, but same Tron land I already have, so play out the Seagate. I don't want to quite let him know the Blast Zone. Maybe he'll extend into this and play a couple more Hierarchs or something, so I'll hold off on the Blast Zone until I'm actually ready to use it, or start putting counters on it. I'm going to play out the Core Tapper here. And then pass. So I could Walking Ballista and kill his Noble, or his Hierarch, but with him being a Loras deck, he's not going to have any 3-drops, really, that I'm scared of. He could have 3-drop spells, but that's fine. I would rather keep the Walking Ballista, and next turn I could actually play it on 2, kill the Hierarch, and still have it alive. Alright, so he's got the Voidwalker and the Thoughtseize. So there goes my Ballista, gets exiled to the Voidwalker. And now I'm on top deck mode. Again, with this being a Thoughtseize deck, I want to get my hands free of Thoughtseize targets. So I'm going to go and sacrifice the Core Tapper so I can actually play out this Paradox Engine. So my hand is now Thoughtseize proof. And the Core Tapper is probably not long for the world anyway. It dies to just about anything in his deck that wants to kill it. And it can't block this Shadow creature anyway, so just, yeah, sacrificing it now is fine. He brings Loros to his hands. I'll go ahead and play this Chalice on 3. Get to untap everything. So I have a lot of mana to play spells. Next turn, I'm going to, as long as I don't draw another lands, I'll get to use the Seagate Wreckage and actually start trying to draw some cards that I can spend all this mana on. It's got me on a pretty short clock here with this Voidwalker with the Exalted trigger. And then he plays out the Loros. With the Loros, I don't really want to just use my Blast Zone to kill his 1/2 drop that he'll just replay through Loros. So I'm actually going to bring Blast Zone up to 3 so I can kill the Loros. Alright, we're going play at the Core Tapper, tapping all my mana because it's going to untap. Just float as much mana as possible. Then I can play my land for the turn. Use the Seagate Wreckage to draw into the node. Play the node. At this point, it's not. I don't have anything more to spend mana on, so it's not really worth to float any of it. I just go ahead and play node out. Put a counter there with my floating mana, so, and then pass turn. And yeah, he has a push. So again, Core Tapper doesn't get to do much besides sack and put counters on Chalice. And there's no difference between putting counters on Chalice or Astral. Now the swing puts me down to 8, getting in kind of low range here. And the Ren in 6, also gonna kind of put me on a short clock. He deals 1 damage to me. If he's holding a bolt, that does put me dead next turn. That's the only reason I would think that he would minus that there. It doesn't actually shorten my clock. Yeah, because even if, I guess he could next turn just swing with both creatures, not care about the Exalted trigger, and then deal point of damage to me again. So I have to do something this turn, or I'm dead on board. So play at the map. After I put charge gunners on, because everything's about to untap. Always put the charge gunners on first. And then sacrifice the map to get Inventor's Fair. So sack the Inventor's Fair to get Mystic Forge, because hopefully this Mystic Forge I can get lucky off the top of the library here. I haven't used a Seagate wreckage, so I can save that in case if I hit a land. I can draw that off of the Seagate. Again, just floating so much mana here. Keep using Node every single time to just be able to float more mana. Alright, Talisman's not too bad. Just a bunch of mana. Play Talisman for 2 to untap, netting so much mana. Go ahead and exile that Buried Ruin. I'm not going to be able to play it. 6, I don't want to put myself too low to the Bolt range, but 6 is still a fine amount of life. Core Tappers, good here. Alright, Monument's a really good draw here. Play out Monument. Karn is also really good, so we're getting really lucky here with this Mystic Forge. Float a bunch of mana. I'm gonna save this last counter on the node. I have enough mana already. I don't really care too much about making these any more charge counters on them. Alright, so now I gain 2 life and we're playing the Karin. This Karin minusing is going to give me another cast trigger, which is going to give me another untap with my Paradox Engine. So I'm just going to play off the top of my library until I can't play off the top of my library. Then I'm going to minus this Karin. It's not in bolt range. If he's got some interactive thing, it probably would have been used already on this Mystic Forge. So I'm fine with. Okay, and yeah, he's conceding enough. I've got a ton of mana. Actually, at this point, I could just minus the Karin, get a Walking Ballista. I mean, I have the one that he exiled with the counter on it. I can grab that from the exile or the one from my sideboard, and actually I have 62 mana here that I could use to cast a Walking Ballista for 31, which he's at 10. So yeah, I don't even need to keep going. I could have just got the Ballista and ended it there. So got game 1. Game 2, I am now on the draw. I did actually sideboard. I took out the Talisman. Talisman's normally my go-to cut. It's one of the weakest cards. I do have a lot of 2 mana ramp spells anyway, so I put in the Spatial Contortion and took out the Talisman. He's got a lot of creatures and things that I want to deal with. Alright. Bad hand here. 1 land. It's considerable. If he wasn't such a removal heavy deck, I might consider keeping this because I can go turn 1 Surge Node, turn 2 put a counter on Chalice, play Map, turn 3 put another counter on Chalice, sack Map. But if he has any kind of interaction and I don't draw lands, this hand just falls apart real fast. But if I do get lands and he doesn't interact, this could be a really good hand, but it's not worth it. 1 Thoughtseize, 1 removal or whatever can really ruin it. So this hand's much worse. It doesn't have any other things and it still has 1 land. This hand's also pretty bad. It's got 2 Tron lands with the map, so it could be turn 3 Tron. I do have to put 2 of these cards on the bottom. So put both the Core Tapper. Core Tapper is also one of the really bad cards in this deck. I might have actually sided out Core Tapper over the Talisman just because it dies so easy. Renin 6 kills it, Push kills it. It hardly ever gets to do much. The Astral at least gets to, I might be able to play it and put a counter on it. So, alright, pretty strong turn 1 play on the play. Do have the Spatial Contortion that can deal with it. Alright, there's a Hierarch and the swing for 3. He deals the damage, he gets a treasure, and he exiles the top card. He exiles Mystic Forge, he can cast that. He doesn't have nearly enough mana to play it though, so I don't have to worry about that. And the Voidwalker again. So he's got a pretty aggressive start here. I didn't get my lands. Spatial Contortion's tempting here, but I really just need to get Tron. Tax in for 5. Exiles my top card. This time it's a Core Tapper. That's fine. I'm glad to see it gone. And then he brings Loris to his hand. End the turn, I'll go and sack the map. Get my Tron land I don't have. And I draw another map. So here my options are I can get Karin. Have 3 mana. I can play a bridge, but the most I can do is play 2 of these 0 drops and still have 2 cards left in my hand, which means he can still attack and kill Karin, which I want to make this Karin try to last. I can get Liquid Meta Coating, but again, he just kills Karin. That doesn't really help. Ballista, I could play. I can't block Shadow, so I could only play it for 1. It's only going to kill 1 of his 2 creatures, not the one with Shadow. So really, I don't have any really good Karin targets, so I'm just going to try to empty my hands, hope he doesn't Thoughtseize this Karin, and next turn play a bridge with an empty hands. I'll save the mana open for this Contortion as well, so just play out a bunch of my hands. Now next turn I can get in empty hands and get the Ensnaring Bridge. I'll go and Contortion the Regavan, prevent him from getting more treasures, and incentivize him more to play the Loris from his hand rather than like Thoughtseize me or something. Yeah, that's what he does. Plays the Loris and the Regavan. Good. Alright, so I consider starting with the Karin, but I think it's better to start with the map first, get a lands, get to Inventor's Fair, I can start gaining some life, and then eventually search for something in case this Karin doesn't last long. because he's still going to be able to start attacking for 1. This will get under the Hierarch will get under the bridge. So the Venosphere will gain me back to 1 life that he can attack me for, and then eventually I can sacrifice it to search for an artifact. And he actually has a bolt for the Karin, so that's fine. And then he attacks. I go down to 8. Plays a Renin 6, and then just starts getting lands back. Now, if he got Karin, not being able to activate artifacts really hurts his deck. So I'm kind of glad he's not using Voidwalker to do that. But he does sack Voidwalker during my upkeep. I don't quite understand that play. Because the only thing he has that he could play is Spectral Contortion, which I don't have anything, so yeah, I don't quite understand that play. Maybe it was a misplay. Go play and crack the map. Get the Seagate Wreckage so I can start drawing some cards. Get Mind Stone. Just go and play that out. But I'm just trying to get as much mana and cards to set up so I can actually sack this Venosphere and try to play out my library. Salted. I could block it, but I'd rather try to get him to minus the Renin 6. But nope, he pluses it. Because if he gets his Renin 6 to alt with a Lightning Bolt in his graveyard, I could also be in big trouble there. Venosphere, get my life. Talisman's not great. Go and sack the Venosphere. Get to Forge. Let's try to see how good I can get here. I don't have a ton of mana spend, so I just play the Chalice for 0. I haven't played my land for the turn, so go and put a counter on that Chalice. Play the Talisman out, and then sack that so I can Seagate Wreckage, get my lands. I could exile this, and I'm not really going to be able to keep going though, so I'd rather have that 1 life and then have this Burial Rune that I can play and get back this map. And yeah, K command is really tough for me. He kills my bridge, has lethal to swing through. Not much I can do there, so he gets game 2. Game 3 of the match. No changes to sideboard. We are on the play this time. Again, really bad hands. I accidentally clicked a little faster there, but it was like a no lander or 1 lander is pretty easy to mulligan. This one, not bad. It's got turn 1 node, turn 2 Mind Stone. It doesn't have anything that actually uses charge counters, so that's a little bit down, and it's only got 2 lands, but it's worth keeping. So we're going to put the Core Tapper on the bottom. Again, we don't have anything to actually put charge counters on, so Core Tapper is just a really bad 1/1 creature. Play the Fountain, and then just in case we draw one of the 0-drop artifacts, go and play the Node out, just so we can use it on that. And then if we do draw that, that's good because then we can put a counter on it and still play the Mind Stone. Chalice on 0 actually doesn't hurt us too much, especially right now. And then of course, we draw that. My whole idea doesn't work because even though I could multi-kick it, it's still a 0 CMT, so it doesn't actually get to Chalice. So I play the Mind Stone, and then I go ahead and just plus up his Chalice. So I put a charge counter on it, so now Chalice is on 1, which is really going to be good for me because it's going to stop his Hierarchs, it's going to stop his Thoughtseize, it's going to stop a lot of the things I'm scared of. And then I go ahead and hold on to this because right now I'd rather just wait until next turn and play it on 1 than play it this turn on 0. And that's a really bad card to see. I don't like this. I really need Spatial Contortion. And I get another 5-drop. So play the Chalice. Doesn't matter. Can't use any of these cards anyway. There's a Voidwalker. So he's got a pretty good clock here. He's swinging for 5. Next turn he'll start swinging for 5. I really need to draw lands here. I particularly would really like to draw Tron, so I can just play this Ugin, so I can kill his Collector Oof, so I can play out my hand and probably just win. Like once that Oof gets off the battlefield, I'm gonna have so much mana. I'm not afraid of like Thoughtseize or Bolts or things like that. Here's a map that I can't use and can't even play through Chalice. Again, not a land. It's kind of close to a land, but with the Oof out, it's not a land. Alright, here's my last chance. I need to draw like running Tron lands to be able to kill him, kill this in 5, or Spatial Contortion, which is not even a land. Not only is it not a Tron land, it's not even a land. So still just the original 2 lands that I kept in the hands. After 6 turns, I've not drawn a land. I don't actually know if I have an out now. Spatial Contortion maybe could be an out. I can make 3 mana. Maybe live down to 2. Like, I'm still in very bad shape. And it's not any of those things anyway, so I'm just dead on board. So that is really unfortunate that in 7 draws, we didn't find the second lands, and that he had the Oof to stop all my non-lands mana producers from producing mana. So that's unfortunate, but that's how it goes. So we lose match 2 to Jund's aggro. Alright, so we're on to match 3 in this league. They won the die roll, so they get to be on the play. This hand's is good. It's got turn 3 Tron, no payouts, but a Mind Stone to maybe try to draw a payout, so it's good. It's a lot of lands, a lot of mana. Alright, blue-whites. I don't think we do well against control. Okay. Coast means it's probably not control. Yeah, Stoneforge Mystic, so that's good. It's not blue-white control, it's blue-white Stoneforge. Alright, we did draw a couple of payouts for all this mana, so that's good. Yeah, they Mystic in their call draw. Seems pretty good. Turn 3, 5/5 first striking Haster Indestructible with Trample. It's pretty short clock. So we'll get up our Tron land that we don't have. and then we draw the same Tron land. So we have Tron now. Again, similar to the last one, I can play the card and I can get the bridge, but I have too many cards in my hand for bridge to really do much. And then there's not any other really good 3 or less things that I can grab here. So like last one, I'm just gonna try to play as much in my hand as I can. So next turn, I can Karn and bridge. That does mean I'm going to be attacked for quite a bit here. They're going to swing in another 6. Like, I'm going to be low. But they're not playing burn, so I don't really have to worry about getting burned out. Just play this Chalice off the top for free. Play another Chalice off the top for free. Play an Astral off the top for free. Not actually getting anywhere with any of that. And then Talisman on top. So emptied quite a bit of my hands. Got quite a bit of lands set up for next turn, so. Alright, they swing, I go down to 9. And, alright, go and play that for free. Again, 0. I do want to play the Karn before I get this Talisman out. Just, I want to try to survive. They do have the Cryptic that are going to counter and draw, which is probably good for us. Gives us more mana here to do stuff with, so go ahead and play this Talisman. Don't really want that Orberg. Again, as long as I'm above 6, I don't think they're going to have any pump spell or any burn, so I think I'm good to stay. I can go as low as 7 life, so I can use Forge one more time. Right, I mean, I guess it's not going to untap, so get Radiant Fountain just to give myself a little bit more buffer too. Not that I'm really worried about them having. Right, they got another artifact creature. Definitely some kind of like stone blade. Oh, there's a Jace. Alright, so trying to be like the old Stoneforge Jace deck. Brainstorm off the Jace. And then, yeah, attack me for 6, putting me down to 4 life. So I pretty much have one turn to try to deal with what they got going on. And Karn is a pretty good way to do that. They have 4 cards. They could have the Force Negation here. I just gotta play with the Karn, hope they don't. It's only 1 mana. I have plenty of mana, so I'm just gonna pay that 1 so they don't draw the card. And then Walking Ballista. It's good. I'm gonna go and get the Paradox Engine just to try to combo off here so I can win this turn. Put counters on some of these artifacts I've been playing. Play out the engine. Tap. Get the Ballista as big as I can with the mana I have. I guess saving up my fountain. All this is going to get untapped. I'm going to have a 2/2 Ballista. Put more charge counters on things. Float a bunch of mana. Play Evolving Chalice. Again, put it on 3 there. The more I put into this, I'll get my mana back out of it. A couple of untaps, and I'll definitely get my mana's worth. So, worth putting in the mana. Surge Node, so now I get to tap for a bunch of mana. Put more counters on these. Play it, untap everything. Karn is a good draw here. Float a bunch of mana, put charge counters on things. I do start trying to play this fast because that's one of the issues with this deck is there's a lot of tapping and a lot of things that just take time spending mana to cast spells. I often do get low on time, So I do start trying to play faster. While doing that, I will make a couple of mistakes here as I go through, but it's like right there. I didn't mean to grab Mystic Forge. I wanted to grab Aetherflux Reservoir. That way I can start gaining up life, and I can just try to win through the Reservoir path, especially with me already being at 3 life. But I grabbed the wrong 4 costing artifacts. I accidentally grabbed the Forge over the Reservoir. Kind of a big punt there. So now I gotta try to find another card so I can grab the correct card I meant to draw. Or I gotta try to just make enough mana for this Walking Ballista before I kill myself with this Forge, because I am only at 3 life. Monument would also be a good acceptable draw. That would start getting me back some life. Again, kind of watching that clock. I still have 18 minutes left, but this is only game 1, so I do still have quite a while to go, and this deck can take some time. So play the Chalice out again on. This time I actually kick it 6 times. And the good thing about this too, with the ability on the stack, I can, with the Paradox Engine ability on the stack, I can actually use the Mystic Forge to exile the top card before I draw it. So now I'm at 1 life. I cannot use these Mystic Forges, this ability anymore. So go ahead and make as much mana as I can. Play out this Mystic Forge. I'll go and use Mindstone's ability then to draw this card. Go ahead and crack the map to get the shuffle effect. Just trying to get these lands off the top of my library. Floating as much mana as I can. Alright, now tap all this mana. Play the Core Tapper. Or no, so now I have 80 mana, 88 mana. I can put 44 counters on, or sorry, my math was wrong. 22 counters on Walking Ballista. 22 counters, he's at 17 life. I don't need to go any further at this point, so I'm just going to sit at the stakes forever, but because every single time you click on Walking Ballista, then you got to pay your mana, so you got to click on your mana 4 times. This does take a bit of a process. Trying to do it as fast as I can through here. Watching that clock, I'm down to 16 minutes with only on the first game. He does actually do the counting thing and just concede. He doesn't sit there making me click through the rest of this. I am already at 12 counters, so only had 5 more times to do it. 6 just to be on the safe side. But yeah, we got game 1. Took us about 9 minutes, so be close for the next 2 games. On to game 2. We won game 1, so we are on the draw now. Again, like the sideboard took out the Talisman, put in the Spatial Contortion, just trying to want to kill that the Stoneforge before he gets a chance to put that equipment into play. So going starting hand here, we've got 2 lands with 2 nodes to map. It's not great hands. It's very questionable. We're going to end up keeping it. Okay. Fountain's not. Forge is not the greatest draw. Fountain's good. Gives me a little extra life. Play the map. And then again, watching that clock, clicking fast. I skip. No wait. Draw Ugin. I'm thinking ahead of myself. Draw the Ugin's not exactly what I want. I really need some lands. So maybe there is merit to not doing this at end of turn, but it really was just a misclick. I meant to sack the map to get the lands, and I completely clicked too fast, watching that clock. I don't do the end of turn, which is good, because I do end up actually getting to draw the lands. So it kind of worked out. I'm going to play the node out. And then now I have a little bit better idea of which Tron land to grab, because I already have one. I just gotta grab one of the two that I don't have, instead of a complete shot in the dark. And then they actually prismatic, and they've got a really slow bad start here too, where now their best play is prismatic ending my node when I don't actually have any payouts for the charge counters, so that's pretty alright with me. And this is turn 4, and that's all they got is a node, so maybe they're just holding a bunch of counter magic up, so the fact that I have a really bad hands, not actually playing anything, I don't know. Don't know what they do have 4 cards in hand. It's not that many. So I end up searching up the plant and then just drawing into another tower. So not the Tron land I wanted, but at least it's a land. I go ahead and try to bait out the counter. They probably have it. They have a lot of cards in hand. And I play out the Forge. And actually don't. So I don't know what they're holding that's not a counter spell. And not something that they've been playing. So maybe they just have a ton of lands. Maybe they kept a land heavy hands. Battle Skull. So maybe they just drew all their equipment and don't have the Stone Forge. So now they just have to hardcast a Turn 5 Battle Skull. Not too scary. There's the Tron land I want, so I'm not going to activate this Forge. I want to keep that on top. I'll play at this tower, so next turn I'm going to have a ton of mana. This turn, play at the Talisman, and I'm going to play at the Karn. The cool thing with the interaction between Karn and Batterskull is I can actually make Batterskull a creature, which will make his ooze die, and then it will have his Batterskull a creature until my next turn, so he does get to attack with it, but because Karn starts at 5 and goes up to 6, Karn's actually going to live through this, so now after this turn he's going to be left with a do nothing 5 mana artifact. He can't even pay 3 to return it because Karn's still alive. Now I get to play out this Ugin. And yeah, okay, so he's holding counter magic and probably more swords and equipments and stuff, so he may even have that 7-drop Cauldron in his hand. I guess that would be one of the big reasons of why Batterskull is better, is you can actually get to 5 mana and play Batterskull. So yeah, he counters and draws. So going to play out the Paradox Engine. Play the I want at least one count on this Chalice, so as it untaps, it actually gives me mana. So I'm going to play the Chalice out. Unfortunately, I can't play the Astral with a counter on it, so I'm just going to float my mana, play it for 0, untap, make some mana. And then, again, I'm keeping this node in my hand. If I hit 2 running lands on top, I can play the node to untap the Forge. So any land I see on top, I can just use the Forge, and then I can just keep playing stuff out of my library. Everything I play is just going to untap everything. This node could be giving me more mana, but really at this point, mana is not so much a concern. So just these lands that I'm hitting that I want to keep getting off the top. Alright, so here I hit a double lands, go ahead and use a Forge. Okay, so here's my triple land, this is why I kept a node. So now I get to tap all of these, play the node from my hands, untap the Forge, and then I get another chance with the Forge to hit a non-land, which I do. And now I just gotta keep trying to play at the top of my library. Cool. Alright, so another Forge is really good. Now I'd have to hit another, like, running 3 lands in a row or something for this to actually stop. So I go and use the node, put some counters on things, make more mana. 12 minutes left on my clock. Not too bad. The Walking Ballista already don't have enough mana to really make it lethal. I have enough mana to just spend it all on this Ballista, because I'm going to untap and I'm going to have enough mana to do whatever else. And then, yeah, so they have the path. I really don't care about putting the basic. I mean, I could thin my deck to basic, one less chance of hitting the double lands, but I'm going to draw a map off the top, which is going to do the same thing, so I'm just going to do all 7 points of damage to him, not worry about the lands. Float a bunch of mana. Play that. So now I actually have this Contortion, and I don't have, and he doesn't have any creatures, so interesting play here. Make the Forge, the non-summoning Sacred Forge, the one that's been out, into a creature with the Karn that I haven't used yet, and I can't minus it, and then just go and Spatial Contortion my Mystic Forge just to be able to cast it. I mean, I could also tap my core, use it on my core tapper, and then sacrifice it in response, but do the same effect. But I mean, this way also he's at 8, and this is actually going to make this a 7, so I'm just 1 point of damage away from killing him. That makes it that much easier to kill him. I mean, even if I find another Karn, I could actually just plus up something that I didn't just play this turn, and then attack in for lethal that way. Alright, so I could just keep playing stuff on top of my library, making a bunch of mana. And then again, watching that clock, I'm now down to 9 minutes. I pretty well have this in the game. I don't think I'm going to have to worry about a game 3, but I do start trying to do things to save time. He's at 8 life, so I only need to play Ballista for 16 mana, so I don't actually need all this floating mana, so I do kind of stop trying to make sure I tap everything. Like this, I didn't tap that Talisman. That's 1 less mana, but I didn't use that node. I mean, but I have enough mana. Right now, time is more of an issue than mana, so just spending mana, not worrying about tapping everything. This time I miss a Mind Stone and the Talisman, but it doesn't really. I have enough mana. Still tapping some of it to make sure I'm not going completely low mana. Play a Core Tapper. Ugin's another good draw. It allows me to get rid of a land off the top. Map's another good one. Forsaken Monument's good because I am actually getting a little low on life, so this will allow me to keep tapping my Mystic Forge for getting lands off top. Like there. Mind Stone, another good one for lands on top of my library. Alright, so we did it. We got the Karn. Alright, so now we can play the Karn. Down to 6 minutes left on the clock. Keep the new Karn, minus it, get the Walking Ballista, play the Walking Ballista for at least 16. I think I just put a ton of mana into it and go, I mean, at least 9. Yeah, I go all the way up to 18. And then a trick with this, when time is a issue, if you hold priority and you just keep minusing and same target, you can just put all the abilities on the stack at the same time, and once you put all the abilities on the stack, you can just yield through turn, and then it'll just eat through all the triggers around the stacks. So rather than clicking each one and letting each one resolve, just clicking it, putting all the abilities on the stack. It's not the most efficient way of doing it, as far as like if they had some interaction, if they had counter all abilities on the stack or something like that, you would get blown up by that. But there's not too many of those things to where the time is the more important thing. So saving that time. I mean, I did have 5 minutes and 50 seconds left, so I could have done it the safe way of doing it one at a time. But either way, a little close on time. Glad I didn't go to game 3 because I definitely wouldn't have been able to win a game 3 with only 5 minutes left. So luckily, we didn't have to do that. So we got this match 2-0. Match 4 of this league. Again, we lost the die roll, so we will be on the draw. Pretty bad, or actually, no, pretty good hand here. Got 2 pieces of Tron, power, or the map to get to the 3rd piece, Mystic Forge to spend all the mana on. Yeah, pretty solid hand, so it's keepable. We'll keep it. Alright, turn 1 Gorge, possibly Dredge. The Cookbook. Alright, let's see what kind of new modern this is. Alright, Basic Waste isn't the best draw. Go and get out the map. And the Troll. Okay, so that can be pretty scary. And they discard that, they create a food, and then they create a food for discarding, so turn 2, 7/6 Vision's Trampler. Seems pretty good. Oh, and turn 2, they still get both their mana up. Luckily, they don't have another play to follow that 7/6 up. Alright, draw another map. Just getting a lot of lands. We will have Tron next turn. Okay, another Cookbook. Down to only 2 cards in hands. Good thing, I mean, 7/6 is good, but it's still a 3-turn clock, and the fact they couldn't swing on turn 2 does give us more time here. So we go and fetch up Tron. We have Mine Tower, so we get plants. Drew into another land, Inventus Fair, so we'll play out Tron here, play the Mystic Forge. Alright, that's going to be really good, because this is a fast clock, but Monument can actually put us at a decent amount of life to slow down the clock a turn or 2. Discards, makes more food, and so he's just got 3 more food. If we kill this troll, Fessing Troll King, he can get it back now, but we don't kill it. We just kill around it. Alright, so I mean, it's got trample, no reason to block it, so we'll just take the 7, go down to 6. And he's got a Neonate. No cards in hand, so alright. Chalice is good on top. Go ahead and play out the Monument. We have the Core Tapper, so just play the Chalice on 0 to gain the 2 life. Keep our resources up to play the other cards. And then we can always tap this Core Tapper to put a counter on there and make it tap for 2 mana. So we actually, net 2 mana by playing that, which we'll use that 2 mana plus the 3 mana from the mine. Play a card. Gain our 2 life, putting us up now to 10, being able to survive another attack depending on what he draws. We'll get another turn, play the Inventus Fair. Go minus the Karin. We'll protect our Karin here with the bridge. The Neonate will be able to attack under it, but the Troll will not. So he'll be able to take Karin down to 2, which, I mean, it's fine. We'll only get 1 more use out of it anyway. And what? yeah, 12 life, bridge out, and he concedes. So we get game 1. Game 2, so for sideboarding, I do have both Tomat's Crypts and Relic in my sideboard, so I'll go and leave the Crypts in my sideboard for the Karn package, but I've decided in the Relic, they are a graveyard heavy deck, so getting rid of having that option still in my sideboard, but also having an option that I can draw earlier in the game is just better. So put the Relic in, take the Talisman out, keep the Crypt in sideboard for the Karn package. So on the draw, very questionable hand here. It's got only 2 lands. It's got a map, so turn 1 map, turn 2 we can get another land. Has the Astral, but no way to put charge counters on it. Does have Mine, so it seems questionable, but I think it's worth a try. No Tron. We'll see how it goes. Turn 1, Burning Inquiry. Really, really unlucky. So our hand was already kind of questionable with only 2 lands. We actually drew 1 off the Burning Inquiry and then discarded 2 lands and our Astral while keeping, and then drawing into a Surge Knot. So that is just, that hand would have been really good had we not had to draw 3 and discard those 3 cards. That was super unlucky. And they got a Hollow One out of it too. So really unlucky. Core Tapper again would have been really good if this Astral Cornucopia didn't get discarded. Play the map out. Goblin Lore. Alright, so this is much different than what we saw game 1. I see Vengevines now. Hollow One is playing Blood Moon. The Street Wraith there. Burning Inquiry. We didn't see any of this game 1. It's almost a completely different deck. Again, not drawing lands. There's the lands we needed in our graveyard. That's a really good Burning Inquiry from them. Here's another one. They get a free creature off of it. Really scared now because they could easily play a second creature and trigger Vengevine. Luckily, they don't have the second creature, and they discard another Vengevine. So, yeah, this clock's getting very short. All right, so at least we did draw a land off that second Burning Inquiry and didn't discard 2 hurtful things. So we play the tower. Go and play this Chalice. We can use the node that we played to put a counter there and just try to build up some mana. Not quite the same as having a land drop, but at least we're getting some mana. Attack here. Just try to conserve our life total where we can. Block here. We really need the mana, so just sacking this Core Tapper to put the 2 counters on the Chalice is going to give us some more mana. And then they have the Foundation Breaker for our Chalice. So there goes the amount of mana that we were able to acquire is now gone. We're back on 2 lands, no mana, and draw into another Core Tapper with nothing to put charge counters on. So this hand would have been a lot different if that Burning Inquiry didn't hit us so hard. Search up a Tron land. I mean, we just need to make a land drop, so hopefully we'll get another Tron land. Alright, another Goblin Lore. Madness, the Root Roller. And then, yeah, they have the Hollow One, which is going to trigger all 3 Vengevines. Really unfortunate that we did not see. I mean, we only put in the 1 Graveyard Hate, so not too unfortunate to not see that, but the lands just really was unfortunate. So we'll go to game 3. On to game 3. We lost the last one, so we will be on the play here. Alright, so, and we're doing well on time, and actually we're ahead on time here. We have them by 2 minutes, so that's pretty rare with this deck. This kind of shows how slow they're playing. I mean, they do seem like they have a bunch of new cards, so maybe they're just playing them carefully. So this hand's 2 pieces of Tron, Node, and Core Tapper for the Astral. Like, this is a good hand here, and the Forge to spend all the mana on. So go ahead and start with the Node and Astral. Alright, already got them down to 15. And then they get this guy. Seems pretty good, discarding a Street Wraith to play a 1 mana 3/3. That's going to get him the cookbook. Alright, we draw the same Tron land we already have. I'm going to put the counter, always put the counter on the Astral first. It's going to give you back the mana that you spend anyway. And then play the Core Tapper and pass back. Goblin Lore. The Hollow One. Yeah, this is a pretty good start here. Turn 2, 7 power. We'll just take it. I'd rather have the Core Tapper with plenty of life right now to spare. Alright, map, that's good. That's going to give us our Tron. So start with the counter, put another counter on. Kind of hesitant a little bit to put the second counter on. Because I kind of want to say this as a blocker, but I mean, we have the Life Toto. We don't quite need a blocker right now. Go ahead and play with the Mystic Forge. See our top card. We do have the land drop, so don't really need to sack the map right now to get Tron. It's good to have the map to sack with the Forge, because we can get that shuffle effect when we want to clear the top card. But right now, the top card's good, so we don't want to clear it. We'll play our tower for the turn, because next turn we'll be able to get Tron, and those towers are just going to be more mana. And they don't have any Vengevines in the graveyard right now, so there's not too big of a chance. I mean, they could have Burning Inquiry, discard 3 of them, or Goblin Lord, discard 3 of them. Goblin Lord did discard 1, but no Madness. Street Wraith. Alright, they get in for 7, put us down to 10. So we are, and there's a cookbook with 5 cards still in hands. Little scary. 1 Vengevine in graveyard. Could pretty easily die next turn, so as much as I want to play this Mindstone off the top, I really don't want to spend my mana until I get Tron. The difference between getting that Tron land and not is 5 mana, 5 extra mana, so just putting the counter there. I don't even want to spend the 1 mana on the node to put it here, because I would rather just get the Tron without tapping any Tron lands. So we get the last piece of Tron. So Ugin on top. If we tap the 6 mana, we can play the Ugin. Then we can play the Karn. I know he plays artifact removal. I know the bridge is not going to save me. I would rather try to find a better out than bridge. So I do start with the Karn. And then he discards, while he can, another Vengevine. So yeah, definitely kind of scary here. Then I end up not minusing the Karn, and I play Ugin. So in hindsight, I should have played the Ugin first. It would have just saved me 2 mana. That does end up biting me. It was a misplay. Just an example of not thinking the turn out all the way. I have plenty of time too. I have 17 minutes left on the clock. So, because now I end up getting rid of the mine, trying to find something I can play. Still trying to find something I can play, so I plus up the Ugin. Now I have something I can play. I really want to get the engine so I can just start comboing here. I mean, I have the mana and Ugin making everything tap or cost 2 less. Like, I can pretty easily combo with the engine out. But I put the map and I get another land on top. And then after I minus, so I don't have enough mana to play the engine, so I just go ahead and grab the crypt here, because the crypt is going to stop these Vengevines from coming back. With crypts on the battlefields, the most you're really going to be able to swing for is going to be 7. He can't get Vengevines out, put me down to 2. I don't think he has any other haster, so I think this crypt is going to be good enough to stop him coming. And I do have a 2/2 blocker here for Hollow One, so you would have to kill my Hollow One, get hasters, and still get 9 points of damage in. So, but I do end up just seeing what I get on top. So I go find Inventor's Fair, just some kind of land, and then I end up getting the Mind Stone, which I get to play for free. I get the Chalice, which I get to multi-kick once for free. I get another Chalice, and at this point, I could have got the engine. If I would have waited on the Karin and not used it right away, I could have minus got the engine. I would have had the 3 mana here, with Ugin making it cost 2 less. That would have been enough to play the engine. Then I had this Mind Stone on top, which I could have played to untap everything, and then I could have comboed from there. So now I just have to, I could have had it, and now I'm trying to get lucky, and yeah, it's working out. Here's another Karin, so I get my chance to get the engine now. So I go and play the Karin. Legend World. I also missed where I could have surged and put a counter on one of these chalices. Only matters in the long run. Doesn't actually net me any mana this turn. Play the map for free. And then, yeah, going pretty well here. I've got 2 blockers. I got the crypt in my hand that he knows about. He just concedes. He's seen enough. I don't know that I would have won that turn. I mean, it depends on what's under this node. Depends on how many more free spells I can play that actually give me mana to get this Karin to actually be able to minus the engine to actually then start netting mana into this Walking Ballista actually killing him. But as I was saying, even if I don't win this turn, I'm still in a great position to just next turn kill him. So, and in a very good position to not die. So, doing the picking up this match against whatever this new Hollow One deck is, it does seem like a pretty solid deck. Like, it looks like it's insane draws, can get pretty insane. But it just, I don't know, didn't draw well there, or didn't hit. It looks like it's another one of those, kind of like the old Hollow One. It's a lot of luck. It's a lot of how well the random generator treats you with the discards with the Goblin Lures and the Burning Choirs. Did really well from that game too. And now one more game left of the match, or of the league. Alright, on to the 5th and final match of this league. We won the die roll, so we'll be on the play. Good hand here, 2 pieces of Tron, 2 pieces of map, and a Karin. Seems pretty good. one Tron land map. And we're playing against Lantern. Alright, so that's one of the Tron pieces we need. Let's go ahead and play out second piece of Tron, and I'll play this Chalice and then the second map, just because I'm already going to draw the Tron piece I need. And the Lantern he has is one he would actually have to sacrifice to make somebody shuffle, so I don't think he's going to do that. And, yep, okay, so that's the good one. Yeah, we're not going to get to draw this map, we're going to actually have to search for a different one. Wait until draw phase. So we get another Chalice. Want to make our, I guess, alright, so just want to play this. I want to get Karn out. That's, yeah. Karn's going to be really good against him. It's going to stop his ability to Codex Shredder us, and all those different things. So, and then I already know he has Assassin's Trophy, so I'm not going to try to get the coding. That's not really going to be able to work well. Just get the Mystic Forge, because that's good when, you know, he's trying to keep the top card of the library. We can play it before he can actually exile it, so. Okay, now at this point we want to get our land drop, so sack the map, get one of the Tron pieces. We've already had one plant milled, so that's the least one we have the least of, so we're going to search that up. There's more mines than any other piece to Tron. Go and minus again, get the Paradox Engine, maybe try to get the combo set up. Play his Core Tapper, because it'll be, if he does use his Saga, we'll be able to block the token from killing the Karin. We really want to keep this Karin alive. It's going to stop him from doing all the things that he wants to do. Alright, and then because this is during the, or after the draw phase, he gets to float the mana, and then use that mana. So now he's got 4 lands still, and then he plays a Karin. That's not good for us. This deck cannot beat this card. So, I mean, almost in scoop phase right there, like, we don't have any answers. But, I mean, we're one away from Tron. Maybe we can, I don't know. It's, he gets attacked with both of these. I can block the Lantern, lose my Core Tapper. Probably what I should have done, but as I said, like, this game's already over. I can't beat Karn. Yeah, he mills my Tron land, so I won't get Tron this turn, but I will draw into a map, which I can't use. I get to play my Mystic Forge. Try to start playing stuff off top of the library. Can't actually, you know, activate any of these. Can't actually activate this guy at all, so just attacking at Karn. I mean, I can't attack for more than it can do, so he thought I don't have anything good. Go and hits the engine. Kills my Chalice by making it into a creature. Plays it. Yeah, like this is over. Urza's Saga really made Lantern so it gave it a win con with the constructs, like a faster win con than milling, while giving it a tutor to search up their 1-drops and 0-drops, and it really is making this deck look pretty scary. Yeah, just try to play stuff off top of my library. Play artifacts don't matter because I can't actually use them. I'm just gonna click a lot faster through this. This is already over. Just attacking in, plussing up Karn on nothing just because. More lands. I mean, I got Tron. I can tap a bunch of mana to make a bunch of rocks that don't actually get to tap for mana. And then, yeah, he plusses up here, plays his lantern that he drew, and then has 8 power and swings and kills me. So, yeah, tough matchup. So, on to game 2. I really don't have anything sideboard against. I mean, even in all of Magic, I don't have like cards that this deck can play that can do much against Karn. So I put in the Wormcoil Engine, a 6/6, maybe can do something against it. Maybe sided out his bridges. So maybe the Wormcoil can be good. But I mean, really, this is not a good matchup. I pretty much just have to hope for the best. So this is a good hand. Natural Tron, turn 2 Chalice, maybe a Karn pretty early. Like, it seems fine. It might be able to get there. Alright, turn 1 Lantern. There's his Assassin Trophy on top. Again. Or another Tron land, not really what I want to see. Go ahead and place Chalice out on 1. Just give me a lot of mana. Yeah, there's a Saga. Card's really good in his deck. There's a Thoughtseize to get rid of the 1 card that I want against him, Karn. My one answer to his Karn would be my Karn, making my artifacts into creatures and attacking him, so yeah, there's a good Thoughtseize. So now, with another Tron land on top, all I can do is get this monument out there and play the Forge. Go and exile this Tron land into another tower. So there's 3 of my towers. Alright, he plays another Saga. Plays a Needle, naming the Forge, which is, yeah, hurtful. Because now I can't even be exiling the cards on top that I can't use. And then, yeah, just during my draw phase, I start to tap my mana because I want to get the value out of it while I have it. Then I realize it's during the draw phase. I don't want to do that because the mana will not carry. So I undo that. Get my lands. Karn on top's good, but he's got the whatever. Yeah, exiles it. Which is, what I need to be drawing. So yeah, it's got all the right things at all the right times. Play that off the top for 1. Tap, play node. Get another node, play that. Core tapper. Engine. I mean, if he didn't have the Pine Needle on Forge, like, this could be it. I could be going off here. Kind of mess up there because I was thinking this. He had the Lantern still untapped, the Pixis, but he actually only has the Lantern, which is the one that he would have to actually shuffle. So I should have put the counter on the card. I wanted to do it. If I tried to put the counter on, he could in response make me discard the top before the before I played the engine, so I want to play the engine so he didn't get a chance to respond, which is why I didn't put the counter. But now I put the counter on there before the untap. I hit a land on top, and I can't use my forge, so yeah, I'm kind of at a... I have to try to draw with the Mind Stone, hopefully get out of this. Before I do that, put some counters with the node, draw it, and then get the map, and then yeah, I hit another land. I can sack this map to try to shuffle and get a non-land on top. After I put some more counters on my things, I shuffle. I get the Inventor's Sphere, or I get Blast Zone because I can try to destroy all these 1-drops. Get the Needle naming Forge, and then I hit another land drop, so I'm stuck and I can't use these forges, so I just play out the second one. And of course, he's got the Saga, which means that he is going to get another needle, and with that needle, he gets a name Blast Zone. So maybe I shouldn't have searched for the Blast Zone and just kept the map. I don't know that he would have named Pine Needle naming the map to try to stop me from getting Blast Zone, or if he would have just named Blast Zone preemptively. Maybe he would have named Node or Car. I don't know. I don't know if maybe he would have searched for something other than Needle, but having got that Blast Zone made it a lot easier for him to know to name Blast Zone with the Pipe Needle. So maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should have just kept the map. Maybe he would have just named that. I don't know. Hard to say. Assassin trophies, engine. Go ahead and get the lands, and then another node on top. So use that. Put more counters on the chalice. I mean, I've got so much mana. I got Tron. I got 3 towers. If I want to play the 3rd tower, if I don't, I mean, I've got more mana than I could possibly know what to do with. But without being able to use these forges, I can't be exiling the cards. And so I play the Ruin. I mean, I can get the Mind Stone to try to maybe draw something, but the problem is now he has his Pyxis untapped. So if I were to Mind Stone into something actually relevant, I guess he wouldn't actually get a chance to respawn. So if I got into like a Karn or something really good, I would get a chance to play that Karn before he gets a chance to Pyxis. So in fact, by getting this engine, now everything I play from the top of my library actually gives him a chance to respawn, because this is a cast trigger. So as soon as I cast, he gets to see the top card of my library, and he could actually exile it before I get a chance to even play it. So I don't know. Maybe it was right to get the Mind Stone. I mean, it's still a bad situation for me anyway. Like, he's got a pretty good situation here. I still would have had to have hoped for like exactly a Karn off the top. Makes another token, and then gets Craft Digger's Cage. Yeah, which also stops the Mystic Forge. So maybe if I didn't get the Blast Zone, he would have just got a Craft Digger's Cage with that first one, in which case I would have been able to get the Blast Zone and then kill all that, maybe, I don't, yeah, it's hard to say. But he swings in for 8. I go down to 13. And then it doesn't even matter because it was a land anyway. So if I would have got the Mind Stone, I would have drawn that fountain and then just had another lands, and then I'm still in this situation where I can't do anything. So yeah, this is pretty tough matchup. I don't know if I'd say unwinnable, but it's definitely in his favor. Karin hurts this deck a lot, and just Urza Saga makes his deck so much better. Like these guys become quick threats. If he didn't have this and he was just still trying to mill me and control, like I maybe would have still been able to do stuff, but those sagas really, yeah, get threats and lock pieces. So we end up, I think I just, yeah, concede here. He has 16 power at least. He's going to draw into, I don't know, maybe he doesn't draw into the position, but either way, he's got lethal. So that was the last game. So that was my first Modern League with this deck, and probably my last. So as I said, this was a very fun deck. It's kind of more sort of a meme, just having cards like Karin the Great Creator that I lose against, not having a whole lot of good colorless answers for the Karin, just make it not that great. But I did end up going 3-2, so that was kind of better than what I thought I would. I do wonder about Urza Saga in this deck. With only 21 lands, I don't know exactly what I would cut. As it is now, I want more Blast Zones. It's my best answer against some of the things like the new Void artifact, or potentially even against Karin. If I can get Blast Zone up to 4, I can kill their Karin. That might be one of my better answers against it. Most of my answers against those cards will probably be land, so putting Urza Saga in the deck. Also, right now it's just pretty expensive in this deck, as it's already. I'm probably not going to play this deck in another league, so I don't really want to spend that much on the Urza Saga for this deck. If I did play it, I'd probably cut maybe Radiant Fountain, maybe Seagate Wreckage, Orborg, and maybe one of these Buried Ruin. Actually, in Modern, I don't know that I like Buried Ruin. I might cut both of those and keep in either the Radiant Fountain or the Seagate Wreckage and just cut those 3 plus whatever one of that to do the playset of Urza Saga. But I didn't get to use a lot of the sideboard package. I do have the Spine of Ish that works with the trading posts, because I can just, with Engine, trading posts, and Spine, I can just destroy all their permanents while drawing out my library. I didn't actually get to. I had a game I should have played the Aether Effects Reservoir, but I grabbed the wrong land, so I didn't get, or the wrong card, so I didn't actually get to use that. But this deck does do some pretty cool things when you actually let it do its thing. But all those games I either lost or they conceded before I really got to do my thing with the trading post and Spine. But if you like this video, please remember to hit that like button, subscribe to my page, and leave any comments or suggestions or feedback you may have.